The latest round of inflation data is out, and it is not good. But the markets, they don't care. We're just going to keep chugging along up. We're going to be discussing that, retail sales, ARM IPO, more turmoil at Binance. So much to cover today. I'm fucking jacked. All of that and more on Money Never Sleeps. Welcome back, everybody. Before we get going today, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel. Nothing Kevin or I say is financial advice. We're not financial advisors. We're a few guys who enjoy following the markets, a little less so today because they're pissing me off. But nothing we say is financial advice. Do your own research for making buys or sells. Kev, we got data in this morning. It doesn't look great because it isn't great. We saw PPI surprise to the upside at 0.7% in August. We saw retail sales come in at 0.6% month over month increase versus a 0.1% expected. Previous month was revised down to 0.5% versus 0.7% initially reported. No one talked about that part of it. But if we dive deeper into the PPI data, which I did, we can see that the main part of why it's up is an increase in final demand prices. 80% of the demand rise in final demand prices is being attributed to a 2% jump in the index for final demand goods. Of that, 60% is due to a rise in the increase of gasoline. Well, guess fucking what? Guess is what is at a 10-month high. Oil prices. We saw WTI go over 90 a barrel. We have Brent crude at 94 a barrel. You would think, a rational person would think, let me just talk this out. We see oil is what drove up the prices in August and is what making inflation on the producer side higher. Producers, that shit's always going to roll downhill to consumers. They're not going to just take a less, they're not going to decrease their profit margins. People are too greedy for that. So we know that that's going to happen. Producer prices are up as a result of gas, but gas keeps going up. Suddenly the market thinks this is the greatest thing ever. The Fed funds rate probability is saying, you know what? Nah, we'll probably pause again in November. We're not going to raise again in November. The probability of a hike in November actually went down on this data today. I am over here feel like I'm taking crazy pills because everything I know about economics and the market, I'm just going to throw out the window right now, it appears, because no one fucking cares. Good to see you, by the way. I'll let you get a word in now that I've had my fucking rant over.
I think this is a good yin yang moment here because that's how I feel on the inside, but I feel more collected and cool, I think, right now because there's a point in the market where you have to look at everything and stuff just doesn't start to make sense. And that's usually when people are in desperation mode or, things are probably going to be getting worse soon. And I think they were at that fucking point, man. None of this shit makes any sense, right? Bad news is good news and good news is good news. We're going to pump this shit regardless, whatever we get. And, people just continue to fight the Fed and also just they're wishing things into the market that are just not reasonable for the market to be in a sustainable place for actual organic growth. Right now, what we're seeing is 100% artificial growth, and we're seeing it. And another word for artificial growth is manipulation. But we're seeing it across many markets. I said this today. They weren't going to let the fucking market drop going into this ARM IPO, and look what they did today. Right, this is something that brought a lot of money in. The listing price shot up as soon as it opened. It opened up a lot higher than we said it was going to yesterday. Yeah. It's nothing makes sense.
It was going to be in the 47 to 51 range, and at one point it wicked up to 62. It has settled now just under 59. Real quick, GM, everybody, appreciate you being here. Randy, Payne, Chris, Mr. House. It's going to be a fun one today. Yeah, it's just a fucking house of cards is what
toothpicks and bullshit, man. That's all it's always been about.
We see so much more turmoil in Europe too. They had to raise rates again. It's an absolute. I couldn't listen to Christine Lagarde's presser because if you thought Jerome Powell was boring, she is just. Especially at this, it was at like 6:45 a.m. my time. I was just waking up. I couldn't. It was going to put me back to sleep. But things are ugly over there, and like they're starting to use the term stagflation. And guess what? We should start fucking using that term too, because TPI is indicating that we're going to continue to see increases in consumer, inflation. We're going to see unemployment continue to go up because it's starting to trend upward. That's what the Fed wants. But what they don't want with that is the fact that demand is going to decrease too. So when we get demand going down, inflation going up, unemployment going up, that's a recipe for fucking disaster. And that is the direction we're heading right now. And people just don't want to believe it. People want to think that last year was the worst of it and everything's going to be fine from here on out. And that next year is the Bitcoin halving and an election cycle. And so that's going to fix all of our fucking problems. Well, guess what? The piper has to be paid at some point, and he don't give a fuck about a Bitcoin halving.
Yeah, I think the election thing is stupid too. Because guess what happened in the last, financial crisis? An election right around the same fucking time. So that shit's kind of stupid. If the market's gonna collapse, it's gonna collapse. They can only hold it up for so long before it's just like, oh fuck, man, we're in over our heads here. And yeah, I mean, I think the sentiment is the worst is behind us. Meanwhile, we're seeing it get even fucking worse to the point where consumers are fucked. I'm sorry. I don't see a fucking silver lining in this market whatsoever. I don't see a silver lining in this economy for anyone. If oil continues to rise up, and I mean, fuck, say you get one escalation over in Europe or in Asia, something just happens that we have no control over. Prices are going up to the fucking. You want to go to the moon? Fucking everything is going to the moon except for your fucking bags. So that's just my opinion on that shit.
Payne, I love it. I watch every time I have a flight that is about 2 hours long. I just watch The Big Short because I love that movie so much. I agree. If you want to go crazy short, you can do what that one guy did with the VIX and just do a leveraged long on the VIX and get an option there, because that's our volatility index. And on a day where we saw data like it is, the VIX is sitting below 13. Meanwhile, the dollar is up to 105.4. So strengthening dollar, weakening VIX. The markets are pumping. Dow and NASDAQ are over 1% each. S&P is right at 1%. We see the euro dollar getting hit again. That is not surprising to me in the least bit. We've talked about that one for a week or two now of like the euro is getting beat up pretty good. If you look at the weekly chart, holy shit. Let's see here. It's like 9 weeks in a row that the dollar has strengthened against the euro. So if you got any European trips coming up, your dollar is going to go a little bit longer over there, which is great. Can we short the Fed? It'd be a lot cooler if we could. I don't think we can, but if I can sneak into Powell's presser next time, I will ask him what mechanism there is to short the Fed. So, okay. Bring my blood pressure down a little bit. We got the PPI stuff covered. We got retail sales covered. Let's talk. You want to talk ARM or Binance next?
Let's do ARM, Binance, then we'll jump into the charts.
All right, pull up the ARM chart while you're at it. Just look at this thing. And we look at like, I don't know, on like the 15-minute or something.
And the 15-second.
The 5-minute. I don't know.
Let's do the 1 minute, I guess.
5 minutes. You can look at the 5-minute. 5 minutes. Yeah, there's some data points on there.
Looks pretty.
It's trending down. I mean, not surprising to anyone. It's or shouldn't be surprising to anyone. It's trending back down after that initial stampede to buy it.
I will say this though. I see a bear flag or a bull flag, so I could see one more last liquidation to short squeeze these motherfuckers, and then we see the true trend down. And again, this is the 5-minute chart, so we got a few more days of this trading before we start to see, I think, true move down. And we also know that ARM fucking pretty much kept this from going too low, right? They there wasn't much that was publicly traded of the stock shares today. Like they kept it to, I think, like less than 9% or something like that was available for trading to the public. So yeah, this is kind of like, okay, let's make a lot of money, but at the same time, let's just make sure it doesn't fucking dump as soon as we get in. As soon as we start holding on to some of these shares. So yeah, this 5-minute chart, that's an R, a lowercase r. That pattern means that this market's bullshit. But yeah, this is probably going to do a little squeeze up here and then probably come back down. If we look at this on the 1 minute, you could also just argue that this is just slowly bleeding out, right? There's not a lot of support down here, so we could come down to here and then see another pump. But that's the thing with IPOs, man. They open up and people take profit, and or they first clearly they first started buying the shit out of this, and then now they're starting to take profit here. There's not a lot that we can really see until it starts to be traded a little bit more. There's not many shares out there, but I do think this is going to be very similar to other IPOs, no different than the Coinbase IPO, where it comes out at a pretty hot time in the market. The market's up, and then the market starts to cool down, and we start to see profits being taken.
Yeah, absolutely. This wouldn't, I wouldn't be surprised to see this one just continue to slowly bleed down. Maybe there would be a short squeeze, but where are the buyers coming from right now? Like,
dude, I have no fucking clue where any of this money is coming from. I mean, the only people I think that are stupid enough to buy it, and I don't mean stupid like your intelligence, but in general, like people who are willing to buy this are retail, and retail has no money right now. Smart money's obviously trying to get out from a higher position, so I don't think they're buying. I think they're getting out. But this right here, I mean, I just in the next few weeks, I could easily see this thing being in the 40s.
Yeah, I mean, it's
30s, even if like high 30s.
We talk about Apple with the iPhone and how much that's going to cost, and ARM supplies chips for the iPhone, and are people going to really buy this new $1,200 phone or even $1,000 phone on the low end when discretionary spending is going down, when savings rates are going down, when credit card balances are high, when mortgage rates are high, when shelter prices there's just so many things that don't make sense about this. But at the same time, I go back and forth because I'm like, okay, but that's me expecting people to act rationally with their money. And we know from every data point in the literal existence of man that is not the case. And so, could a bunch of dum-dums out there who don't really have the money to buy a new iPhone go ahead and say, fuck it, I'll just make the minimum credit card payment and I'll just buy this new iPhone or add it to my plan and extend my monthly expenses with a higher phone bill from the payment plan for this thing? Maybe. It wouldn't surprise me, but at the same time, I'm still staying away from this one with a 10-foot pole. And if it gets into the 40s, I'll look at it.
Yeah, I mean, think about this rationally too. I saw an article on TradingView about this yesterday, saying that the public should stay away from this IPO mainly because the valuation is so ridiculously high that it would need to, I think, have like $20 million worth of revenue or some astronomical number per month for it to keep its valuation at that level, that market cap. So obviously, I don't think there's gonna be a lot of fucking money coming in. Maybe some bigger contracts, maybe, but in general, I don't necessarily see a world where most of these companies are going to see company profits increase. We haven't seen corporate profits increase for a lot of companies this entire year. We've actually seen them decrease. Beating expectations very different than actually growing from month over month, quarter over quarter for company profits. So I think that this is a pretty good argument to say that, yeah, this is probably something that's going to be a huge headwind for ARM. So yeah, it's probably going to see the price come down because it's not going to be able to meet expectations. And if maybe some of those expectations are just so inflated that won't even come near to some of those.
Yeah, I nothing else to add there. There are some more IPOs coming, Chris. Instacart, Kava, Birkenstock was another one.
Small ones.
Yeah, some smaller ones. This is the biggest one in quite a while, but yeah, it's kind of opening up the gates for more IPOs. Once again, something like Instacart, at some point people are gonna be like, yeah, I can't pay the delivery fee for Instacart. They're $10, whatever the fuck it is. Maybe I'll just go to the store myself because it's not that fucking hard to go to the store yourself to get things. Anyway,
Birkenstock too. It's like, why would I pay $80 for half a shoe? You know, I'd rather just go barefoot for free. Might as well.
I'm
halfway there.
Old man yelling at cloud right now is how I feel. I'm fucking Abe Simpson over here, just yelling at the cloud. You kids these days spending money on grocery delivery. That's how I feel at this moment in time. All right, let's talk about Binance. Yeah. The shit just another domino falling. When the head of risk for Binance he's head of risk for Binance US, correct?
It was head of risk management for Binance US, and I think head of legal. They both went under.
That's good.
That seems like everything's doing all right over there. It's good to know because we wouldn't be able to tell from the price action of BNB coin, right? Fucking sideways.
All right. I mean, I don't even know if people can still have money on Binance US, but if you do, please get the fuck off of there. Like, why? Why? Like, nothing about this whole situation. Like this chart right, I'm just kind of tired of looking at the BNB chart because
Yeah, it sucks.
it's so propped up. It's like, what the fuck's the point anymore of looking at this thing? But yeah, man, it's not great over at Binance. If they have more issues globally, that is going to wreak havoc on the crypto market in general. Imagine a world where we have FTX sell pressure and we have Binance sell pressure and no new money coming in. That's the world where we get ETH sub 1,000 and we get Bitcoin down to 15K.
100%. And again, the reason I keep pushing this narrative that Binance will go under is because I genuinely do believe Binance will go under. It's not financial advice at all. That's just seeing how much pressure they have from the US. And again, the US, I don't care what country you are, where you're operating, you might not even have a fucking headquarters. They will find you and they will kill you. I'm just kidding. I was quoting Liam Neeson there. But they will find you. And if you want an example of that, Sam Bankman-Fried, dude was in the Bahamas, still got his ass, right? There's a way they will find you. Your corporation will go down. I mean, let's be honest. They want Binance out of the picture before this Bitcoin ETF is fucking approved on any of these exchanges. They will not allow them, a foreign entity who has no connection to the US in which they could make money off of and prosper, to get any of the market share of Bitcoin going up from this Bitcoin ETF, right? Coinbase is going to be the exchange in the US. I don't care what anyone says. There's a reason why they are. I mean, I still think the Coinbase SEC lawsuit's kind of a phony one, if you ask me. I think they'll be fine. But yeah, I mean, Binance is facing so much fucking shit right now. They're being attacked on all sides. And even though it isn't a huge deal, Binance US, we've seen what happens when exchanges leave the US. We saw KuCoin, their token went down 50%. Fucking BNB hasn't even budged. This market is absolutely just propping up this coin here. And again, I'm looking at this. I'm still trying to be reasonable and rational here, and saying this is a 5-way move down, and this could just be wave two. This is wave two of this move, and we still have to come down. We can see that the daily stochastic RSI is starting to move fairly quickly to the upside. We should be towards the overbought territory by the end of today and tomorrow. That's not a good thing. If the price hasn't really moved that much in either direction and you're getting overbought pretty quick, that usually means that the momentum is closer to the downside if there is any pressure coming down. And yeah, with this, as long as you stay below 220 in this range, I mean, this is 28 days that we've been down here in this range. The longest we've been here was 30 days, and that was back in June of 2022. We talked about that yesterday. This thing's, I mean, I don't see a world where there isn't any sell pressure coming from an exchange that is losing revenue. I don't care if they're the biggest exchange in the world. They are out of so many markets since the beginning of this year. It's only getting harder. And the only thing that's going to hurt it more than anything is Bitcoin going down. And we can take a look at Bitcoin and see if that has any impact on how these exchanges will be performing in the next few weeks to months.
Let's do it. Let's take a look at Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin's stupid, to be honest with you. It's liquidating a lot of people. I sent a tweet out last night saying that there was a lot of shorts that needed to be liquidated around 26.8K. And we could see that on the daily, we went to this yellow line. That was the line that I was watching. Talked about that a little bit yesterday too, but I want to go to the 5-minute chart. Look at these rat bastards. They went right fucking through it on the 5-minute chart, shot up, came down. Now it's below the 50 moving average on the 5-minute. So you can see what they're doing. They're liquidating everybody. And the problem is people are seeing the price go up. So they're like, oh, the fucking Bitcoin, fucking heaven. Oh, I'm going to fucking buy some. Fuck me. You fucking stupid ass bears. That's pretty much the sentiment. And that's fine. I really don't care if you hate bears or not, but be rational. A lot of people, I don't think necessarily looking at some of the stuff in the charts that make sense, or they're just picking and choosing what they want to believe, right? Some people aren't looking at technicals. Some people are making fun of technicals. Well, don't knock it till you try it. And if you can't do it, then don't bitch about it. So that's just my opinion on some of the sentiment here. But there's a reason why we're seeing Bitcoin shoot up to these levels. Again, we haven't got put in the death cross yet from the 50 and the 200 exponential moving average. We're finding resistance on it as of right now. We see that we got resistance on the 50 and sold off back in August, right before the monthly close. But You can see the daily stochastic RSI is getting pretty close to overbought. It's going to be overbought today. And where we currently are sitting on this blue line, we could see that that has been key resistance, right? Sure, we wicked above it. Who fucking cares? It matters where you close. So I do think that there is a possibility, and we'll take a look at this right now, that Bitcoin could go to 27.7. That is like the worst case scenario. And the only reason I'm saying this is because there's a lot of liquidations that are happening here. And if there's no money coming into these markets, then obviously they're going to have to push the price up a little bit, then fucking destroy anyone who's going short here. And a lot of people have been going short. And honestly, realistically, probably right. You would see all the shit that's happening in the markets, and it's like, yeah, obviously you would go short because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of money coming in. We're in a liquidity crunch, but the market's going to fuck you in both ways, up and down, and you just got to kind of go along for the ride and try and be safe. But here we are on the Bitcoin exchange liquidation map. You can see that we're at this red line here, and we could see that there's a lot of liquidations to the downside. So these are a lot of people who are going long once we broke that 25K level. These are all leveraged shorts, so we would see a lot of these get wiped out on some of the exchanges. We could see that over here on the 7-day, it's very low, all the way to 27.7. I wouldn't be surprised if we do push up, because that would still be within our estimations of this wave 4. Again, wave 4 can go all the way up to 28.5 before we have to invalidate it. And if that's the case, then okay, it's invalidated. But the higher that wave 4 goes, the lower that wave 5 will go. And I anticipate that might bring us even below our 23.6K level. That could bring us closer to 22,000. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. And again, it's not good news with what's going on in Binance. If something bad happens and they have to start selling off some of those assets, obviously that's going to give Bitcoin dominance an extremely heavy hand over the alt market. And, when Bitcoin decides to liquidate just a little bit, fucking alts are going to just bleed like crazy. So looking at these liquidation levels, it does not look, there's definitely more to the downside here, but there is still a little bit room to the upside. So we could trap some more fucking people to build this pool up way more on the way down. It's very possible. We have to keep an eye on that. But yeah, I honestly think we're in a place where Bitcoin is going to be overbought fairly soon. I don't think we're going to go above 27K. I'm seeing people call for 29K, 30K, 35K. It's possible, but I think with where we are in this market right now, there is so much bad shit that I don't think smart money really wants to put money into the market. They don't want to be caught holding this bag. I know retail doesn't have any money realistically. And the only way I see money going to a place where it's going to be entering the exchanges and buying these things realistically is if they're minting stable coins. So fake money, technically manipulating the market, which they kind of did back in March of this year. That's the only way I could see the price shooting up, and then people kind of buying back in, getting them excited. And then you probably see very similar to what we saw back in August, which was the liquidations that shot us all the way up just to get rejected the next day on September 1st. So it's a really fucking tricky market to be navigating right now. I'm personally just sitting in my positions. I feel comfortable right now. Everything is still going according to plan. Again, not getting ahead of myself, because the second I'm bearish as fuck, I know the market will shoot up, and the second you're bullish as fuck, the market will shoot down. You have no control right now. You're kind of just sitting in this, trying to be reasonable, make sense of a lot of irrationality. But Bitcoin,
sometimes just the best trade is
no trade
at all.
I agree, 100%.
That's what it feels like right now to me. But
yeah, it's really just so fucking weird where we are currently, because I've seen so much supply enter these exchanges recently, and the price is shooting up, and it's like, yeah, they're not going to sell it at a fucking low price. I mean, when you're seeing 4,000 Bitcoin being thrown onto an exchange, or, separated into different wallets and then sent to different exchanges, it's like, yeah, do you think they want to sell that at fucking 25.9, or do you think they want to sell that at 26.8, where there's a lot of liquidity, right? It's probably 26.8 where they're going to sell it. They're going to keep doing that. And that doesn't give me a lot of confidence when I see that big of orders of Bitcoin and Ethereum and even other altcoins. Like XRP has been, curved. All these alts have been thrown onto these exchanges and being sold off. And it's like the only reason you throw money onto an exchange is to sell it off, right? You're not going to stake. You can't even fucking stake Bitcoin. It's stupid. But some of these alts, it's like no one really wants to lock up liquidity right here. That you would have wanted to do that a lot longer, a few months back when the prices were a lot cheaper. But right now, I don't buy this narrative that Bitcoin is strong and that it's going to the fucking moon. If anything, Bitcoin dominance is just continuing to rise. And if Bitcoin dominance continues to rise and say one of these alts starts eating shit, then guess what, guys? This fucker's going to go a lot higher, and that's going to be a lot more detrimental. And it doesn't help when Bitcoin dominance is high. And then the dollar is also surging up, right? Doesn't make any sense that, someone's got to be wrong here. Either the bulls are wrong or the bears are wrong. And with the dollar shooting up and based off of everything going on with the euro, also just in general, I think the dollar is still due for a push to the upside, especially with this pattern here. Obviously, oil's going up, and then we're getting some terrible data. I think the push up today was a good move based on the ECB decision, along with the PPI data and the CPI data yesterday. This was the move I was kind of anticipating that we were supposed to get yesterday. We got it today. It's good news. I think we are going for that 105.651. Maybe by tomorrow's close we get there. It's going to be huge, and I think these markets are just wrong right now. I hate to say it as plainly as that, but I think the major indices are dead wrong. I mean, how's the Dow and the Nasdaq up like fucking crazy? But if you've been paying attention, you can see that Netflix has been eating shit for the past 2 days, 3 days, right? There's a lot of this stuff in the charts that just doesn't make sense. Where are we going with this? Well, we already filled that gap, so we're probably going to go to the next gap. So for Netflix, we're probably going between 384 and 385. It's possible. I think that's the next reasonable target based off of these gaps that we've created to the downside. And, that means we're in the descent to our wave C. If we start closing below this current one down here, if we close below 397, then it's a good chance that we are in the wave C and people are just not realizing where we are in this market because everyone's so zoomed in on what's happened in the past 2 days. They're not zooming out to the point where it's like, okay, where are we compared to where we were a few weeks back?
Okay. Anything else in the charts that is catching your eye? We talked Bitcoin, talked Apple, talked ARM. Let's look at the DXY for a little bit here.
Yeah, we can pull that up again.
Yeah, I want to go back to that.
Sweet.
I want to see. Also, I want to see it versus if we can do the dollar euro one as well.
Yep. So let's see, dollar euro. I thought I had that on the Forex on the side. I think I do. Yeah, euro.
Euro dollar. Yep.
All right, cool. Yeah. So obviously that's going down as the DXY is going up, right? And inversely, again, I just looked at this and maybe because I'm a fucking idiot and I'm playing with my charts too much, I see a parallel channel to the upside here, right? That's usually a break. That's a bearish sign. So the euro is probably going to go down a lot more from here, I would anticipate, based off of this pattern. I haven't really looked at the euro too much, but that's the daily. Let's look at the monthly. Yep. Oh, fuck me. Live on TV. That is 100% going down. Look at that monthly, guys. That's a bear. That's 100% a fucking bear flag that I've ever seen. That thing's going to tank. That means the dollar is only going to get stronger from here. Motherfucker. How did we miss that? That's a big one, dude. I didn't even notice that one.
I think this is something that we need to add on a regular basis now as we talk about foreign markets and everything, is how the dollar sees assets. Like it's fucking important.
This is going to fucking shoot the dollar up, guys. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, everyone's talking about BRICS and everything like that. That's just a news headline. When we see the actual strength of a dollar against, other currencies, I mean, this monthly is extremely overbought. That means it's been overvalued and hasn't even done a pretty good move to the upside, right? It was down here, back in October at 95 cents to the dollar, shot all the way up to about 112 to the dollar. Now look at this. It's breaking down, and it didn't even put in a higher high. It put in actually a lower high. We're going down a little bit further. That's just what I'm seeing from this. And I mean, we could zoom out. I could fucking come up with some pattern, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. I'm not going to do that right now because that's a boring ass chart looking at that. But I think in the short term, just zooming in on this on the monthly for the past 12 to 24 months, we could see that this is a bad sign. Let me just pull up some other ones real quick. Let's pull up the JPY USD. I mean, even Japanese yen broke this trend line here. It looks like it's going down further from there. Let's go to Chinese yuan. My bad. I mean, it's struggling right here. This could be a double bottom. Maybe this shoots up. I know China's actually trying to do a decent amount with their yen, and we can see that the dollar is still kind of pushing up here against it. I keep calling it yen, yuan. I'm stupid as hell. But yeah, I mean, as of right now, the dollar looks strong as could be, and I think a lot of people don't want it to be. And that's just going to impact the price of risk assets across the board. So that was a good call looking at that one after the ECB decision. What does this mean for FOMC? No idea. I honestly don't think they're probably going to do what they do best and not react. And we probably should react, I think, at this point, because if we don't, we're going to see that stagflation that they're seeing over there in Europe or starting to see. And that's going to be terrible for markets, even though everyone decides to buy in right now. They want to exit from higher. I will fucking say it all day long. They want to exit from higher.
Okay. I think that is probably a good place for us to wrap it.
We'll say this. It's been 15 years tomorrow since Lehman Brothers.
Say.
We have to finish it with Lehman Brothers, okay? Those fuckers are blamed for everything, but we know that they weren't the true cause of the great financial collapse. They did help in it, but all it takes, guys, is one motherfucker to go down, and then all the other dominoes follow. So that's all I will say on that. If you have any words on Lehman Brothers, the crystal anniversary, I didn't bring any math.
Yeah. What a time to be alive. That was, God, this was the beginning of my last year in college studying financial planning. So
awesome.
Just what I remember showing up to my risk management class and my professor goes, "Welp," like like beside himself with what was going on. And all of the advisors were like, "Yeah, you guys are gonna have a hard fucking time finding jobs." And it was true. 20% of us had jobs out of college. It was a fucking nightmare, like an absolute nightmare. But I will always remember it. I'll always remember that I got my start like truly investing in trading market and being involved in markets during the financial collapse. And you know what? Whatever comes next, I know we're going to make it through because I've been there before. I've seen how this plays out. Survival will happen. Not everyone will make it, but you and me will. And hopefully, my hope is the people who watch this show consistently with us that we can, when things do eventually get scary, be the voice of calm and reason that people are going to need, because today's market activity does not dissuade my opinion on what is coming next. And I just, I'm not going to let the perma bulls out there who make fun of people who are bearish at this point change my opinion. And yet to decide whether or not I'm going to victory lap them when they prove to be wrong. I'm leaning towards no, because A, that's bad juju, but B, if it does come to fruition, that means that people are going to get hurt, and I don't want to rub salt in that. So I think once the win happens, I'm just going to take that opportunity to buy more assets, make more money, and just sit happily knowing that we made the right call. Maybe, we'll take a little victory lap on here, but I'm not going to rub it in. So that is good for today. I appreciate everyone for being here, for watching with us, for hearing my rants, however crazy they may be at times. Kevin is out tomorrow. I will be back, seeing if maybe Mr. House would like to join me. I'll talk to him. He did a great job filling in for me before. I'm sure he can do an awesome job filling in for Kevin for a day. But either way, we'll have some sort of content out tomorrow as the week closes up. So join us for that. If you have not yet, hit that like button down below, subscribe to our channel, share us out on social media, drop some comments to get the conversation started. We really appreciate you guys being here. Have an awesome rest of your day. Stay safe in the markets, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.